Hello again. My name is Sophia Kogadai. I am the occupational therapy student at the Sacramento UOP, and I'm doing my doctoral capstone project on just the first generation experience with mental health and utilizing services. So this is the social wellness presentation for the 7-week Dimensions of Wellness workshop. So happy that you can join me. So we're going to be discussing social wellness. Okay, so hop on in. So the objectives of this workshop are going to be to define social wellness and its role in mental health, identifying barriers to social connection as a first generation student, discussing first generation intersectionality, discovering how to build supportive social networks and map out our social groups. So that'll be a couple activities that we will do, as well as learning how to communicate and strategies for seeking help and what to say even. And lastly, just a guide for navigating conversations with parents about mental health, because that can be a challenge for many students. Okay, so what is social wellness? Social wellness is connecting and engaging with others and communities in meaningful ways. So maintaining healthy and supportive relationships is really important for social wellness, and it showed studies showed that increases self-esteem and improves mental health overall. So having just healthy relationships, enjoying being around other people, developing friendships, intimate relationships as well, and just having a feeling of sense of belonging and connection in your social groups as well as on campus and wherever you are. We're going to be learning about communicating clearly and respectfully, because that is a key factor in socializing and just social wellness in general. And lastly, just having a reliable support system during challenging times. That's inevitable in our lives. So um, it's important to be able to know who your social system or your support systems are, and how to reach out to them. So we're going to be discussing a little bit of that today. Okay, so first off, we're going to be discussing barriers that many first-gen students experience when it comes to social wellness. First off, just navigating social challenges for the first time can be really stressful and anxiety-inducing, depending on an individual's background. They may not have had many opportunities for socializing. There's different levels of strictness with parents. I know my parents were, right? So that can be a huge barrier when coming onto a college campus and having to socialize with many different types of people. So it could be just challenging knowing how to go about that if you haven't experienced that yet. And then just feeling like an outsider and not filling in or not fitting in. So there are many first-gen students who experience racism, prejudice, and microaggressions, and this can be really challenging when it comes to socializing, because if you don't feel safe on a campus or anywhere that you are in social circles, then it's going to really prevent you from going out and engaging with others and feeling safe enough to build that support system. So that can be a big barrier. Next up, just language barrier for some people. If English is not someone's first language, then it may be hard to connect with others around them, or just understanding, jokes or pop culture, even just being able to express yourself and communicate your needs the way that you want. So there can be a lot of miscommunications due to that, and that can lead to miscommunications and just challenges with socializing. Parents limited support. So there is, your family support is also part of social wellness. So if students have limited support even within their families or parents, there are a lot of first-gen students who have a pressure to succeed alone, not have a lot of support, and just be strong, that can be really challenging. And it could be a barrier to just having good social skills and social wellness. And just having guilt about leaving home. So for those who were able to move out and come experience living on the college campus, that can be really challenging being away from home for the first time and leaving your family behind and your friends behind. And just having a change in friendships and relationships that can be there could be hurdles within those existing relationships because you may not be able to come around as much or your priorities are different. So that can put a strain on a relationship. Next, the there are there could be time constraints from work, academics, and family responsibilities. So if a student is wearing a lot of hats, they're working, they have clubs, they have sports, they don't necessarily have time to go socialize or build those social connections, and that can feel very isolating. Many students who have to work due to financial constraints, they aren't able to participate in social events and activities because a lot of these things cost money. And if they're able to find the time to do something, they may choose work over socializing because they have to probably support themselves or maybe support their families. So that can be hard if you just don't have the time to socialize, right? And then lastly, just balancing intersectionality. This is just different layers of one's personality. So if you have different sides of you and that presents itself differently in different groups that you're in, and how you are in your family, or your culture, and then coming on to a college campus and being slightly different or just having a different side of you come out, then that can be really hard to navigate as well. So a little bit more about first gen intersectionality. So intersectionality is the concept that individuals possess multiple social identities that intersect and interact to shape their unique experiences and access to opportunities. So everybody, if you think about yourself, everybody has a different race, gender, different class, sexuality, if they have disabilities, their nationality even, and that can be hard to navigate everything that's going on, right? And just connecting with other people based off of maybe one part of your personality may match well with one person, but not another. So just navigating all of that can be hard. And then, yeah, so navigating social identities um, so navigating social identities, like students are, their identities are based on the memberships of the groups and social categories that they're in. So depending on what you do, you may consider yourself an athlete or an artist or whatever it may be, whatever your hobbies are. Um, and there are some things that students can experience, social identity threats. So this is a fear or feeling that your social identity is devalued, undermined, or stigmatized, and perceived identity incompatibility. So this is the perception that your social identity is not compatible with the identity or stereotype of someone who does well in or benefits from education. So if you've experienced a lot of racism or just prejudice growing up, then maybe you may think, oh, someone like me would not be at a college campus level. And there's a lot of uh, imposter syndrome that comes with that. So just navigating that as well. And just the lack of social support and loneliness can make individuals more vulnerable to mental health challenges. So if you are isolating and you don't have social supports around you, then this increases your anxiety, your stress, and just isolation. Okay, so just kind of learning how to build supportive networks if it is really important, but sometimes it's not easy to know what to do or how to go about that. So academic and social involvement on campus can facilitate a sense of belonging, and it can also counteract the negative impacts of discrimination and prejudice. So even if you experience these things, just having a safe social circle can really help with just negating all of that and feeling welcomed and feeling like you belong. So some of the important social systems that are important for emerging first generation students so that they're adjusting to college life is their social support, academic support, and family support. So for social support, these are more peer group interactions. These are your friends, your classmates, your study group, maybe people that you work with. Academic support, so this is think faculty, interactions, think teachers, academic counselors, trio staff, care management, CAPS. So these are more faculty-based people that you can go to whenever you need like academic support or anything like that. And lastly, family support is really important for this adjustment because family can provide emotional support, they can provide financial support, and we'll talk a little bit more about different types of support in a little bit. But in terms of family support, can sometimes be challenging because students are dealing with just trying to gain independence, and if this isn't if this is new in your family, then it could be really hard just balancing this newfound independence or wanting to be more independent. But some things that you can do is activity-based social interactions. So there's a lot of studies that show that a lot of benefits to having an activity-based um, social group. So joining clubs, organizations, study groups, etc. It can improve social interactions, problem solving, communication, occupational performance, just your ability to participate in certain things, interpersonal relationships, and just your mental health overall. So just important while you're building your supportive networks to make time for your existing relationships. So think about who your supportive friends and family are now, and just try to make time to maintain those relationships as you're building new relationships in your current environment on campus. And that expanding your social circle really help with just networking in general, socially, academically, you know, in your career, all that is really important. And just lastly, asking for help is going to be really important, and we'll have an activity to go over how to do that. But yeah, asking for help is important for building supportive networks because then it gives others an opportunity to ask you for help too, and that builds connection and safety. All that. So we'll hop into our first activity. So mapping a support group. So knowing how or who could possibly be in your support group is an important thing to know, right? There are what is it, 5 different types of support groups, so we'll go through each of them. And there is this workshop or this worksheet here that will be on the modules that you're able to fill out after this. But the first type of support is emotional support. So these are people who are helping you manage different emotions, and they ask you how you feel during tough times. They listen without judgment. You know, these are people who you can lean on when you're having a bad day emotionally, who can, you know, really help you when you're struggling with your mental health. Tangible support. So these are people who can help with practical problems. So practical problems are things like financial assistance or rides to school, maybe some errands, helping moving, childcare, things like that. So a lot of times tangible support are people in your family. It could be friends as well, but oftentimes family kind of falls into this. The next up is informational support. These are people who can provide information or resources to solve a problem or give advice. So a lot of times faculty kind of falls into this category. So the people that you can go to for when you don't know what to do and you need some guidance. These are all informational support. Next up, we have social needs. So these are people who have shared hobbies. You could be in the same clubs or sports or go to different events together, just anything that you need socially. It could be people that you can have phone calls with just to catch up or go grab dinner together. People in your social needs group bring you a sense of belonging. You feel like you can you feel like you feel safe with them and you feel connected and close. And then lastly, we have esteem support. So these are people who help you feel more confident and accept yourself. These people are kind of like cheerleaders for you. So they see your self-worth and your value and kind of help you see your value too. They're seeing your beauty. Hopefully you can see that too. But having supportive friends is really important. So we have different friends and for different reasons, kind of. And so this worksheet that I created, you'll be able to fill out the names of people or just resources that fall into each of these categories. And when you're feeling like you need support in a day, it's easy to refer back to this to know, okay, today I need emotional support. So here's a list of all the people who I know I can lean on emotionally. And as you're filling out this form, you can kind of reflect who do you currently lean on for support? Who do you go to right now for your emotional needs? If you're having a bad day, you need to vent about something, you would probably write down their names here. Who do you feel safe with being yourself? Who and where would you like to strengthen your connections? So if you are looking at this and you're thinking, I have maybe um, informational support and maybe I have tangible support, but I don't have esteem support, maybe reflects on which areas you need more support and kind of build those relationships. And this could be existing relationships and groups or current ones that you're kind of new to or getting to know each other, but just keeping that in mind of um, how people kind of fit into your life and how you guys can support each other. Um, so this next activity is just learning how to ask for support. It can be really challenging knowing how to ask for support from your social groups. If you may know, yeah, it'll benefit me to do that, but if you're not used to it, or you don't exactly know how to go about it, then it could be really hard having those conversations. So this is a quick little guide is of how you can begin to have those conversations. So first, you're acknowledging the needs. So you're going to identify and you're going to name your struggles first. So just kind of knowing what do you need? Because if you don't know what you need, then you can't ask for it. And then once you're able to identify that, then identify the right support. So then you decide who can help you, who's best equipped to help you with 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 supporting you in this moment with your specific needs. So then you can kind of go back to your social supports. If you fill this out, then it's easy to go back to who specifically is the right type of support for you in that time. And then thirdly, just making a plan. So if this is hard for you at first, you can have a plan and just identify an appropriate place and time to have a conversation with them, kind of what you're going to say, what you want to talk about. You can write it down if it's helpful, so you don't forget. You can, yeah, just kind of planning it out a little bit can help with that. And then lastly, just being clear as possible. So starting off slowly and communicating your needs and your feelings as clearly and honestly as possible, and just asking for what you need from them because Sometimes people feel isolated and they feel alone, especially if their mental health is struggling because they don't feel like people are there for them, but sometimes people don't know that you need support, and they don't know how to show up or what you need exactly. So just, people are not mind readers, so having that clear communication with your friends, your family, just your social support circles, it will really help and strengthen your bond, being able to say, hey, I'm struggling with um, some things, can we talk? So these are some potential initiation phrases too that I have. Hey, I'm having a rough week. Do you have any time to talk? Or would you like to even studying together? I need to study a bit. I'm struggling, being motivated studying for my classes. I have this exam coming up. Would you like to study together sometime? I need a support study partner. Or just I've been feeling isolated. Can I check in with you now and then? So things like that. It could be very simple, straightforward, just what it is exactly that you need. So practicing this is can make it easier. The more that you do it, the easier it'll get. And the less it may be uncomfortable at first because you may not be used to it. But you find that it's easier the more that you do it, and people will appreciate knowing how to support you. If you think about how you like to be there and support your friends like to do the same for you, and you deserve support just as much as you give support. So try this out this week if you need it. Um, okay, so this one is discussing mental health with your parents. There's a lot of students who mentioned that they have a hard time discussing mental health with their parents, and if they have done it, it didn't go well, or it was not the best conversation. So this is a little bit of a guide of how to go about doing that. So first off, just discussing mental health with your parents, it can feel overwhelming, it can be frustrating, it can be scary and even emotional because you're dealing with something very vulnerable and heavy to you. So if these feelings come up, just know that it is very normal to feel this. And anyone having these conversations for the first time or whatever number of times, it's okay that you feel that way, right? So kind of like the previous slides, just preparing what you're going to say. So you can start off by saying, how have you been feeling? You can tell them how long you've been feeling this way. Mom, I've been feeling depressed for um, a couple months now, and it's really been impacting my daily life. So you can say it's been affecting your ability to study or go to work or just taking care of yourself really. And then lastly, just how they can help and what you need from them. So it's kind of the same thing as the previous slide of just being able to say, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I would like from you. And, you know, if you can support me in this way. So after kind of preparing for that, and knowing what you're going to say, again, you can write it down. You can choose the right time and place. So again, you want this to be a place with no limited distractions. You want it to give yourself enough time to have this conversation because you don't know how it's going to go. So, um, just preparing for that as well and choosing a good time and place. Next up, just being prepared for different reactions and having a plan for if that reaction does not go well. Obviously, we would love if our parents understood mental health and were ready to support us as soon as you bring it up, but that's not always the case. This is one of the big barriers of first-gen students seeking mental health services because sometimes it's just a cultural thing. And if you listen to the lecture that was provided, we kind of go over all of that. So because those things are all very true, and a part of people's cultures and their lives, then this is really important to kind of keep in mind that the reaction that you get may not be exactly positive. So what will you do afterwards if it isn't? If it is, that's great. We are manifesting that. But if it isn't, have kind of a plan for afterwards with, okay, I'm gonna go use one of my coping skills that we learned about in the last the workshop, an emotional wellness workshop. But there's a lot of coping skills that you can use for that. Next up, just being honest. You really want to take this time to connect with, again, your parents, your family. These are part of your social wellness. They are people that you're socializing with. So it's important to, be honest. You can use this as a good time to connect and feel closer. If you use I statements when you're expressing yourself, that makes it easier for the listener. So instead of making like accusing statements of you always do this and it makes me feel whatever, starting off with I feel overwhelmed when you talk to me right before my exam, or I wish that you would um, listen to me when I'm trying to explain something, whatever the example may be. Or I would love for you to understand that, and whatever your experience is. So I statements are always a really good way to have these conversations with anybody, really, just because you're coming at the conversation in not a what someone would feel like an attacking mode. But yeah, I statements are known to be helpful. And then you also want to mention how they can support you and help you. So you can say things like, I need you to listen without judging me. I need you to support me emotionally without giving me solutions. Because we do see that sometimes. You will come to someone with a problem and they'll immediately try to solve that problem for you when that's not what you're asking for. You just need someone to listen. So, kind of taking into account what we learned about in the previous slide, if you need something, ask for it. And it's the same with your parents. If you need if you have the need for boundaries, that's really important. It's really hard for parents to respect boundaries sometimes, so that can be really hard, but that's something that you can discuss in a time like this. And then just seeking professional support if that's what you need. And it may not be something that your parents are supportive of regarding your mental health, and that can be something that you bring up to them, that this is something that you need in this moment. So with all of this, you want to make sure you have patience because again, it may not go well. There's a lot of challenges with presenting these kind of topics with parents sometimes. So just kind of being patient with yourself, being patient with your parents, and knowing that there's a adjustment period. Again, just taking care of yourself afterwards, whether it's good or bad, and just knowing, that it is still a lot of information that you are um, expressing, and that can bring up a lot of suppressed emotions and feelings. So just having a good plan of taking care of yourself afterwards will go a long way, right? And then lastly, just getting help from a mental health professional. This is something that you could discuss with someone, with a counselor, of how to go about this in a more specific way. But they're always there for even things like this. It could be anything that you need. So if you need help talking with your parents, that's something that a mental health professional can help you with. But yeah, hopefully this helps. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But some few things to keep in mind. That relationships take time and vulnerability. So if you're in a place right now where you feel like you don't have a lot of social relationships and you don't know how to fill out your social support circle worksheet, it can don't be discouraged. This is the time to build those skills and you know it takes time. It takes time, it takes vulnerability, and you'll get there for sure. Just one thing at a time, and you'll be fine, right? Next up, you deserve connection and not just productivity. Yes, we are on this college campus, and we are here to learn and get an education, to better our lives and all that. But it doesn't mean that you don't deserve to have connections with other people, other students, because this time will fly by really quickly. So just kind of taking the time to build a community. It's a really important part of self-care, and that includes having fun. Having fun is really important for your mental health. So if you are struggling, then doing something fun with someone who is safe will be the thing that you need potentially. It depends. And then just reaching out to someone that you trust, even just say hi. This keeps social connections alive, and people, and maintains relationships that you may not have that you've had for a while, that maybe you haven't spoken to someone for a little bit, but just keeping up with people, reaching out, just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I hope you've been well. That goes a long way. Yeah, joining clubs or social groups, and just meeting new people. This is the perfect place to do it. This is the easiest it'll ever be to find friends and find social circles and support. So take advantage of where you are and what you have around you and all that. But yeah, just be yourself and your people will find you. Don't try to change yourself or be someone that you're not, because you don't want friends who don't actually connect with the real you. You want people who like you for you, right? But yeah, and that's it. But thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming to this workshop, and hopefully it's educational. I will again put up that worksheet on Canvas on the modules so that you have access to that. But yeah, go have fun, go do something with someone, and I'll see you in the next workshop. Thank you.